This week's episode of One of a Kind with RVD is presented by Get Blitzed. That's get-blitz.com. Get Blitz Let's Aid is nano-infused THC syrup, and it is a premium cannabis-infused syrup formulated with nanotechnology for fast-acting effects. And you can get 15% off your order when you head to get-blitz.com and use promo code RVD. Get 15% off. Head to get-blitz.com, promo code RVD, 15% off. It's one of a kind, baby.
Raw Van Dam! The whole effing show! Raw Van Dam! The whole effing show! Van Daminator! Van Terminator! Van Crushinator! Van Assassinator!
What's up, everybody? It is One of a Kind with RVD on OneTrueSportTV.com, on Rob Van Dam's YouTube channel, and on Rob Van Dam's Twitter. I guess I gotta throw this out there, guys. You won't guess who is with me today. It's Rob Van Dam. Rob, are you there? Can you hear me?
What up, Dominator? How you doing this week, man?
Good. How are you doing, man? I'm really sweaty right now. It's really hot in my apartment, but I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, it feels good here. We had some really hot days, and then now it's cooled off to the double digits. 99 degrees today, so it's really cooled down.
You're below the hundreds. That's a plus.
yeah, it is comfortable.
That's awesome, though. Yeah.
It's different in the desert.
I love Vegas.
As cliche as it might sound, and it's not for everybody. But I love the feel of coming outside from being inside, and just especially like a door to a big place, hotel, lobby, casino, whatever, where the wind goes and it blows and it feels like a hot air dryer, like a hair dryer in your face.
Yeah, it does.
There's something really pleasant about that.
I like it too. Even you walk in from a different atmosphere, whether it's air conditioned or not air conditioned. It's that change in elements is kind of nice. I like it.
Yeah, now I do hate that about the winter. That everyone has it way too hot inside for me. Everywhere, every car, every bus, the airplanes, hotel, everyone's house. It's always too warm for me, and it's so cold outside that you got to wear extra clothes. So that's a pain in the ass because now you got extra clothes on. It's too hot, and you got to take them off. Then it's still too hot. Then you got to put it back on to go outside. And that's one of the reasons it's not my favorite time of year, or my favorite temperature is not cold.
Yeah. I hate the winter. I hate it. Now I'm opposite of you though, because anytime I'm in like a place inside and it's wintertime, I'm usually too cold. I got shitty ass circulation. So it's anytime I'm somewhere like at my brother's apartment, for example, or his house, it's always freezing in there. I'm freezing my balls off. But
yeah,
summertime, it's not too bad. But guys, we are live here on the channels. Be sure to help support. If you're on OneTrueSportTV.com, you can join down there, get some extra content behind the paywall, or be sure to subscribe to Rob Van Dam's YouTube channel at The Real RVD. Give us a thumbs up, comment, ask a question, use the super chat. That helps us out. And if you definitely want to ask, use the super chat. And we'll get to it for sure. We're going to make this a short one because Rob is back to rambling this week. And coming up, you're on the travel road, aren't you?
Yes.
Jackson, Mississippi, hey?
Jackson, Mississippi at the Comic-Con on Saturday and Sunday. As I always say, you can find that on my appearances at robvandam.com or just go to Jackson Comic-Con, I think is the website. There's going to be some of my peers there as well. Other wrestlers, other celebrities. Comic-Cons are fun because there's voice actors, animators, and some of them I just know from doing the cons for so many years. But looking forward to that. And then Katie will be with me. And then Sunday night, after the day at the convention, it's time to watch RVD on A&E.
I am pumped. I am so pumped for that. you got to talk about it on Busted Open Radio today. How did that conversation go with Dave and Tommy? And I think Nick Nemeth was on there too, right?
Maybe if that's the other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it went fine. I don't know. I never like have left there and felt, like, whoa, like that was like the interview of a lifetime. It's always just, I don't know. It's always like real mellow. Tommy's real mellow. It's like talking to him on the phone, and even when Bob was there, it just seems like, yeah. So what are you doing this weekend? Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, we'll talk at you later. Click. And then I listen to him talk about me for a second because I'm still on, and they're like, hey, yeah, Rob's cool. What did we just talk about? I don't know. I haven't seen the bio yet. I remember filming it a little over a year ago. I think it was February, actually. Yeah, of last year. And I remember thinking, that people are just going to be so amazed at what condition I'm in. And now I'm in way better condition than I was then. So that's cool to know. But also, I still feel like that. The people are going to watch it and they're going to be like, why is RVD not on our TV? And so I brought that up. I'm Busted Open Radio for discussion. Yeah.
Yeah. Light them up, Rob. Hey, Steve Soleil says, I might go to Jackson if they have a watch party for RVD. That's a 3-hour drive for him. So he's based out of Louisiana. So, yeah, you should make the trip, Steve.
I saw your message on social media, too. It's got to be the 3-hour away guy. But, yeah, I sent a message out on Twitter, and as far as I know, I don't think anybody's responded to it. And so I don't have any like real strong leads right now. It's still 3 days away, and I don't know. I mean, I will definitely post about it if I find somewhere. If I don't find somewhere in advance, then who knows? Could be in a hotel room. Could be in at a bar. Dave and Buster's. But I thought it would be cool, to make an event out of it. And the Comic-Con, they're going to be cleaning up already. So I guess they want to go home and load their trucks up. So probably won't be there. But it is an idea, and I am accessible, and maybe we can pull it off.
That'd be sweet. Yeah, maybe there's like a bar that's nearby where the con's taking place at, or where you're.
Yeah, if nothing else, at least I'll have a private viewing party like that.
Right. Yeah.
Me and Katie will be there.
Like, oh yeah, that's okay. So, yeah, Katie's gonna be in the area too. That's sweet. Yeah. So that'll be great then. Heck yeah, make it work out.
Bobby Fulton. Bobby Fulton, because he's the agent that is booking me this weekend. So fantastic, Bobby Fulton. But yeah, there'll at least be something thrown together at the last minute. But I don't know if there'll be something to warn people in enough time, to make a 3-hour drive and make it worth their while. I don't know. But if you live in Jackson, Mississippi, or you're near there and you have a place in mind, that would be awesome to have a viewing party for the A&E documentary, the RVD bio, then by all means, feel free to suggest it.
Heck yeah, do it to it, guys.
Absolutely. Yes, or put it over there in the chat.
Yeah. Rob, have you watched any of the A&E biographies yet?
Yeah, I've seen a few of them. They're really good.
Yeah.
They are really good. And I caught ECW's a couple nights ago. I believe that's episode 1 of the season, with mine being 2, but I don't know. Or whatever. I guess, I don't know if it's a new season or not. But anyway, seems like a new chapter. But I saw that one. I thought that was good story. Yeah, I mean, every time I watch one, it's like, damn, they do some really good documentaries.
That's a great thing, too. Like, the WWE's production when it comes to that stuff, like, when they do their own documentaries, they really hit it out of the park with that stuff. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
David Boglin gives us a little super chat. Thanks for the $10, David. He's a member at One True Sport as well. Yeah, RVD and Dom, there's a spaceship leaving Earth to find life in the universe. You have to put 3 items on the ship to show aliens who and what we are as a species. What 3 items do you put on the ship? That's a tough one.
Yeah, that is.
The show. aliens who and what we are as a species. Let me see.
I'm not sure I'm too proud of what we are as a species.
Right.
Might
We're
try-
kind of like assholes.
A gun, birth control, and of some kind.
Yes.
They'll figure it out. They're probably smarter than us. And some money.
Money. There you go. That is basically what makes the world go around here on Earth. Huh.
Control, power, and the money that is control and power. Boom.
Boom. That's what it is. Man, I would take a dog just because I would get lonely. I know it's selfish and might not show us what we are as a species. I'm showing what a dog.
That's selfish.
That is selfish, isn't it?
You're thinking about future generations. You're already a martyr. You're going into damn space for some shit, man. Suck it up. Walk it off.
Walk it off. Rub some dirt on it. Dog, a book. This is just selfish me doing stuff. And I would take I don't know, something, a bunch of soup with me, cans of soup.
You're just killing time while you're up there until the inevitable.
Yeah.
Either someone finding you or you're just running out of resources and disappearing.
I'll show the aliens, hey, look all the SpaghettiOs I got, guys. And they'll be like, let's kill this guy.
Either way, you're going to become stardust, I think, eventually. So.
That's it. We're not talking Cody Rhodes. Gem the Dawn. He just says token up with RVD. Yeah.
Spark it up if you got it.
No doubt.
I'm ready for this. I've been holding it for like 30 minutes.
Have you really?
This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Let's talk about sex, guys. Remember the days when you were always ready to go? Now you can increase your performance and get the extra confidence in bed. Listen up. BlueChew.com. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you receive prescription within days. The best part, it's all done online, so no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in the line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package. They always say first impressions are important. What about lasting impressions? Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. Chew it and do it. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code RVD at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code RVD to receive your first month free. Visit Blue Chew for more details and important safety information. And we, RVD and I, thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast.
Oh, here's a good one. Darren Staley, he's also a member at One True Sport. Does RVD have any good Stan Hansen stories? And why does he think Stan was so over in Japan?
Well, from my experience, Japan is a representative of the Eastern philosophy. It's literally where it originates is in the East. And people are different. And the older you get there, it seems like people respect the older, wiser, more experienced people there. It seems like it. And that definitely seemed to be true with the wrestling stars. And I remember I'd been going over there for a few years. You know, I was getting the chants, RVD. Lobo, Bandamo. It's a little bit different there. But I was doing the split leg moonsault, cross bodies, being me, and feeling like I was making a name for myself. And I remember pulling over at this truck stop on a long, boring bus ride. And, man, when we got off the bus, the people came running to Dory Funk Jr. They came running to Abdullah the Butcher. and they came running to Stan Hansen. And I was thinking, like, wow, man, what's a guy got to do around here to get some respect? And the answer is get a lot more experience, like now I hear all the time from people that grew up watching me. That means I've been a significant part of their life for a long time. And I've been fairly consistent if they know what I'm about and depending on what they value about me in their life. I don't think I've changed a whole lot. So there's that. They feel a lot more connected. But in Japan, in the East, the same way with martial arts. If you watch the old movies, like, and I'm not saying Hong Kong is in Japan, but in the Far East, the Orient, it's the old bald dudes with the little gray mustache and beard that kicks the shit out of a whole room full of people. The drunken master or whatever, and it's the young people that are always trying to surpass that level of wisdom that comes from experience. So I found that to be a very, very strong factor, and it was really relevant at that moment for me at that truck stop. It really sunk in, and then just like everything, once you're aware of it and it becomes part of your thought process, then you notice it a lot more. It's been true ever since. Stan is also very consistent with just being a bull. He just runs over everybody, kind of like a juggernaut. Just doesn't care what's in his way, chairs, people, whatever. I remember being hurt the most on one tour being his partner, just because he ran in and pushed my head out of the way so he could come in and bully his way into the match. Came in from behind me and kinked my neck, and then everything hurt the rest of the tour. I was like, oh, cool. Thanks, Stan. Hope it was worth it for you. And I'm sure it was. He didn't give a darn about me, my young ass. But he would come out of the dressing room with a bull rope, and sometimes would have a bell tied on the end of it, and he would just start swinging it. And you've seen a couple other wrestlers do this as well. I saw Stan doing it. That was the first time, and that's what it was about to me, was, oh my God, Stan comes out. And the thing is, just like with the running of the bulls, they all know what's going to happen. Yeah. And they know that he's coming out. They know when it's his match, and they know when his music hits, and what do? They all crowd around the dressing room door so that as soon as he kicks it open and screams, ah! Sorry, Levy. Everyone would go running and trample over each other, and a lot of people would get hit with that rope. Kids, I remember it was an issue. Like, a couple of us guys were talking about it. Dan Crawford, was like, man, that's wrong. Like, what he was like a little 14-year-old kid or something with a big welt on his face because he's swinging that wham, wham, and he clears through the crowd like a weed whacker going through, a field. That's the way to describe Stan going through the crowd to the ring. They loved it. They loved the physicality of it. Credibility. Come on. How are you not going to believe that? And he was always in character, always Stan. And, there's a lot to respect about him because even when he was considered like an older guy or whatever, he still would go toe-to-toe with guys like Vader, Kabashi, big guys that he would not back down from. Anytime he put the boots on, I feel like he was going to deliver, at everybody's expense. So I think that's why Stan was so popular. And there's some stories for you right there. And I've told this one about when the Blackhearts were over there. They got heat from all the boys because they were really, really annoying to be around. They tried so hard to fit in, always said the wrong things at the wrong time. They got so much heat, and mostly the one guy over the other. It was Tom that was super annoying, and David was his partner, so guilty by association. And they both wore these nylon black masks that covered everything, like they're Robin Banks or whatever. That's what their heads look like. And they had to wrestle Stan like towards the end of a tour one time, and it was after they had a lot of heat, and Stan had decided, I'm going to spank those boys, and he took a chair, whack, hit one of them over the head so hard it sounded gross. Looked like a can of tomato paste, like was bam, bashed on the guy's forehead, and then wham, ditto on the other guy. Both split open, both lots of blood, and to them that was part of paying their dues.
Wow, man, yeah, Stan was wild. It's like I didn't get to see a whole lot of his stuff, obviously, but I remember like hearing, being a Bruno fan and hearing the matches that he had with Bruno and breaking Bruno's neck, and then I got to meet him in New York, WrestleMania 36 or something, whenever it was in New York and stuff like that. He was just a nice guy.
Yeah. He gave me so much shit the first 2 or 3 years that I was wrestling for All Japan. Mm-hmm. People forget I wrestled for All Japan from like 93 to 99. That was my go-to, my bread and butter, and it gets left out of my bios a lot. Yeah. But I was wrestling for Giant Baba all that time, and then afterwards wrestled several times for other companies as well, but that's when Giant Baba was alive. And Stan, for the first several years, this is kind of evidence about how OG I was with my style. Mm-hmm. Nobody else was doing that stuff back then, right? Yeah. They're all in the ring. And really, in All Japan, it was a very traditional kind of company, which I loved, because we never did interviews. The storylines were usually brought out through the matches, through the fight that you had in the match would sometimes be a story, or you were chased for a title. But there was like one guy with a mask, and that was Patriot. Like one guy that painted his face, and that was Kamala. And then the Blackhearts, they weren't normally there. They did one, maybe 2 tours, and that was it. But normally it was just guys in trunks, and it was very basic, and it was about the wrestling, and I really loved that, and I loved the physicalities of it. Still, my style was a little different. I wanted to be doing backflips off the guardrail. You know what I mean? I wanted to be diving out to the crowd and stuff like that. And because of that, Stan used to always make fun of me, because like we'd be talking before the match, like if it's a 6-man and the 3 Americans are together talking, just trying to set up, trying to pregame a little bit, mm-hmm. Like maybe one of them will say, well, I'll just start the match out, and let me do some warm-up stuff with Kabashi, let him tag one of the young boys in, like a Sako or something, and I'll come over and tag Robin. And Robbie, he would call me. I'll tag Robbie. And then then Stan would be like, yeah, okay, put his glasses up. And then he'd say, well, all right, as soon as possible, tag me back in. I'll try to make it believable again.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, he would always insult me like that when I was young. But he liked me, and I knew that, and we had a relationship, I remember asking him advice. God, I was so young, and I was having problems in my mind with the girl that I used to see forever ago, before my evil ex, the one that got engaged, and then my ego wouldn't let her be happy, so I had to get her back, and then break up again, and man, anyway, we split up and got back together a lot and stuff. And I remember being over in Japan, and everyone brought me out, getting drunk, Iki. That's what they do, kanpai. And, they make you drink when you're younger. It's peer pressure. And anyway, part of the ritual. But I remember them bringing me out to the karaoke bars, and me like changing like the words to sing that, my girl such a whore, entertaining myself. But I was so young. I would have been 22 and 23 years old, mm-hmm. Up to 24, even like during those years. But I remember, and this is what I wanted to share, because it's so not me now. So one of those times where I see how much growth I had. But I remember asking Stan, like, how do you know, like, this girl, she was older than me and she was more experienced than I was.
Yeah.
I was a baby. And I had a problem with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I remember asking Stan, like, how do you know, like, if the girl's like been with like too many guys, or like what's too many where you shouldn't waste your time with them. Like I remember asking Stan that, like a father figure, I guess, kind of question, having that conversation with him and stuff. And I must have just been so young to think that somebody else would have an answer for that on what would work for me and my situation. And he did, He
Yeah.
did. He did have an answer. Yeah, he was like, well, I mean, you don't want a girl that's been with like 100 guys. That's too much. That's the kind of things like people that are like, well, I don't judge. They like to put their stipulations on something and still think of it as being open. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with someone smoking marijuana, and they gotta really add. They want to take a couple of puffs before bed at night. What's the difference between that and a glass of wine? But okay, what about someone who wants to smoke 2 joints while he's doing a podcast? Because you didn't mention that guy, Yeah, that's the way that people are, though. It's a way to express yourself with basic thinking. And anyway, sorry, Stan, if I was calling you a basic thinker. No, but we had that relationship way back then, and then coming full circle after I got good and was wrestling a lot and wrestling in the States. And towards the end of the 90s, this would have been then, because I'm already probably in ECW, getting my confidence, everything. I remember wrestling with Stan, and it was a tag match or something, but I am in the ring with him, and I'm like, all right, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like I have an agenda here. You know what I mean? Because, and I'm ECW RVD too. Like, hey, you're going to learn to have some respect right here. And that's how I felt. And I remember having him in the corner, and I did the shoulders in him. Bam, 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 down low. And then I did a backflip.
Yeah.
And then I came running at him, and I did a jumping kick and kicked him in the face. Boom. And he's like swinging around or whatever. And after the match, he said, wow, he said, I got to hand it to you. Your stuff's legit. Like I'd never seen it from that angle. I've never been in there like that. And he said, I like 1 minute you were there, and then boom, you jumped up, you just disappeared. I couldn't find you anymore, because he's got really bad eyesight.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, damn, Stan, you used to act like I didn't belong in the business. And he said, well, you didn't back then. Now you do. So that was like my RVD rite of passage. My rite of passage via Stan the Man Hansen. There's a story for you.
I love that. That's awesome, man. Great stuff. Awesome question too. Whoever asked that.
These podcasts are fun, even when I'm tired at the beginning. Like, but it always.
Yeah, we always
find stuff. Yeah,
always find some stuff. Hey, so a famous actor. This is an interesting question. Drew Howard, famous actor. Donald Sutherland passed away. Do you have any particular movies you recognize of him? Did you ever see the 70s Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
I think that I did when I was really young.
Yeah.
I know I used to always go to the spot. Oh, no, that's Close Encounters. Is that Close Encounters? Or is that Body Snatch? Yeah. I think it's Close Encounters, where they filmed up at the wall that starts Hollywoodland at the top of the hill. And I'm not really sure. If I did, I would have probably been a teenager last time I saw it.
Yeah, I was when I saw it. I remember airing on TV. I think it was the scariest fucking movie I ever saw. Like,
you said, "Oh, Donald Sutherland." Damn. Okay, I was thinking of Kiefer and
Kiefer. Yeah.
He did a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to cheat and IMDb him to see, to scroll through the thousands of movies he's done to probably pick one out, because I don't remember him being like the main character in one of my favorites. Like good cop guy and bad guy. cowboyish actor.
Outlaw.
I really don't know, but R.I.P. Donald. That's by the way, am I crazy or did Kiefer pass away?
No,
Did he pass away?
No.
Huh? He's alive?
Oh, yeah, he's alive. He
Okay.
tweeted about
Okay.
his dad passing away. I think he was the one who maybe he made the announcement even on Twitter. I think he might have been.
Okay, then
Yeah.
you don't do that. I don't think you do that from beyond. I don't think you have social media from beyond. No matter how many times I read people tweeting to their loved lost ones,
Yeah,
I miss you, Snuffy. I think about you every day, and I'm not making fun of them, but I am always thinking like, so do they are they getting that message on their X account or?
Do they have a smartphone? What do they use up in heaven or whatever?
Yeah, my phone won't let me get an IMDb. What's your problem, bro?
Hang on. Yeah, I can look up his list real quick.
My phone it resets itself all the time, and lately I see it's on like low data mode, and so it limits what I can do. I don't even know how to take it off for that or who put it on. They have automatic.
Yeah,
I was gonna say automatic stuff. Like I notice the computer all the time. Like I would just be looking at it. It gets darker and darker gradually. I'm like, hey, motherfucker, I can't even see anymore. And I click the bright up. Like, who told you to gradually get darker? I still got fucking 90% of my battery left. It just does that on its own. I'm just gonna say, oh. And I'm not supposed to notice. And I'm like, oh.
I know. I was like, am I in the sun too much? Like, why can't I fucking see my screen? It's the same thing. I hate it too. All right, Donald Sutherland. He was in MASH, the movie. He was let's see, Pirates Passage, Hunger Games. Wow, he's been in a shit ton of stuff. I'm still in the 2010s.
That's not one of mine. Hunger Games.
The Great Train Robbery. Trying to see which else. Kentucky Fried Movie he was in.
Man, I wonder what he did in that one, because that is a movie that again, it's been since I was a kid, but I have seen that movie 30 times. Me and my friends used to recite, line for line, some of that stuff.
He was the clumsy waiter in that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So he was probably young back then, huh?
He was pretty young there. National Lampoon's, he was in Animal House. He was Dave Jennings in Animal House. Man, how about that? Man, a Suitcase. Wow, he's been in, I'm still scrolling. First thing he was in 1962. Man, he's been acting for quite a while. That's pretty impressive. There you go, guys. R.I.P. to Donald Sutherland.
Is he in the Pizza Connection? Hey,
Pizza Connection. Let me see. $1 Billion Dream. Oedipus. He was in Oedipus. Kelly's Heroes. Johnny Got His Gun. Day of the Locust. I'm not seeing the Pizza Connection.
okay.
There's Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Man, that movie was scary.
I'm trying to. I've been having to delete my apps lately and then upload them because they're outdated and shit. And that seems to be something that my phone keeps asking me to do every day. And that might be the problem. But another thing, and my cloud has been sold out for like a year now. It tells me every day, upgrade your storage. And I just think it's a work. But I just already upgraded it. You upgrade to $99. It's $9.99. And it's like, why do you have to listen to everything I say and record it in the cloud anyway?
Yeah, right?
I don't know. I'm not from the age of technology, obviously. That's weird how that makes a difference with this.
Yeah. Oh, he's in the Dirty Dozen. Shit.
I can see him playing. Oh no, you said Oedipus. I was thinking Odysseus. Odysseus.
Oh, Odysseus. Oh, like I love Odysseus. I love that whole. I love it when there's a like when people take it and like, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I fucking love that movie. Did you ever see that one, Brothers? Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I know there was supposed to be and that was supposed to be some. I didn't get it, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago, and I was like, what? That's telling the story of Ulysses Adventures, but George Clooney do it. I don't know. I just it seemed depressing and sad. I can't remember. I just didn't. I would have to give that another try before I could say that I saw the similarities with the story. But that's cool that you liked it, though. I just missed it. You know, not.
Yeah. John Goodman had the one eye patch, so he was like the Cyclops.
Okay.
Yeah. Fun shit. Yeah. Let me see here.
When his daughter's like part of it, or that's a different movie, a different depressing.
Yeah,
okay.
I think that was a different movie. I think so. Yeah, he was also in JFK. He was Mr. X in JFK. If you ever saw that with Oliver Stone.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? That's gonna probably go down as the favorite that I can think of.
Oh, I love Oliver Stone. He's got some good movies. Cool.
You said you never seen that though?
I've never seen JFK. I need to see it.
How many times have you heard people say? How many times have you heard people say back and to the left, back
all the time?
To the left. Yeah, that's where that comes from.
Okay, yeah, I remember seeing that scene though, because isn't he going through like a slideshow thing or something when that's happening?
Yeah, he's showing the pewter, whatever the guy's name. Yeah. JFK getting his head shot and showing how the angle that it's coming from and how his head's exploding here and how that's inconsistent with, you know, that being the same bullet that went through Ford and everything about that, you know, was torn apart. And if you don't know about that, then you can spend a month looking up all the conspiracy stuff. But anyway, yeah, that was about the lawyer in New Orleans. I want to say Jeff Garrigan, but I don't know if that's his name. That isn't. But yeah, that I love that story too, though. I love the whole Lee Harvey Oswald and JFK and that whole story. It's fascinating to me, and the CIA's involvement and the mobsters. And yeah.
Darren says Jim Garrison. Was that the guy's name? Character?
Yeah. What'd I say? I said Jeff Garrigan. I see why I said that. Thank you, Jim Garrison.
Darren Staley's yelling at me. He's like, "Yeah, I have to see it." So I got to see it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. What was I gonna ask? Oh, so this was gonna kind of lead me into a wrestling question, but also into a different kind of conspiracy question I wanted to ask you too. So on Raw, I don't know if you saw it, but the Wyatt Six debuted. Bray Wyatt's brother, like Bo Dallas, and his new faction, and they did like a horror-y kind of like massacre backstage in gorilla position and everything like that. It was like the final 5 minutes of the show, and like really, really well done and like well-produced stuff. And very intriguing. And I know previously we talked on the show about like supernatural in wrestling and can it work and can it not work and certain things like that. You think about The Undertaker and things like that. And it seems like with Bray Wyatt, they had some momentum with them, but also on top of it too, I think they tripped up a lot of the time with the supernatural elements. This one though, according to reports, is they're doing more of like, it seems like they're going to try to make it more realistic where it comes to like, almost like a cult thing. And like, it made me think about Charles Manson and Helter Skelter and stuff like that. And so kind of what I wanted to ask you, I guess there's a really good book out. It's called Chaos. Have you heard about anything like that when it comes to the Manson murders or anything like that? Has that ever intrigued you, like to kind of get into that kind of stuff?
A book called Chaos that's about the Charles Manson murders?
Yeah, so it was like this guy was assigned to do, it was like 30 years since they happened. So it was like maybe late 90s, I guess it would be 99 or something. He was assigned to do it. And he's like, oh, what more am I going to find about this stuff? And then he found himself way deep into a lot of different things. And I just heard about the book like earlier this week. And like, I guess it got released in like 2019. And he learned about a whole lot of stuff like that. Like Manson was like a CIA op and all this kind of stuff and involved with that and pretty crazy stuff. But it seemed pretty fascinating from what I was hearing about.
So I do, that is an area of interest for me. And what's interesting about the name of the book is that my friend that I used to hang out with, my former friend, David DeFalco, movie director, producer, crazy dude that wrote and directed and produced Wrong Side of Town. He also did a movie called Chaos, and that was like his dream. You know, he really thought that he was going to be a huge horror movie director with that. And no, it wasn't that. No, it was that. It was that, and then he had a follow-up to it too. He was going down and talking to the coroner at the LA morgue and he was showing him bodies. Look at that beautiful 18-year-old girl. 12 hours ago, she was at a party having the time of her life, looking at slabs. Wow. I just got goosebumps fucking thinking of him telling me those stories. But anyway, when I think of Chaos, I think of that, and I think of those times. And he was writing a book about how people were doing meth, and it allows demons to come in and take over your body. And it was all based on like real murders that were happening around Hollywood and stuff. And man, I was like, oops, I was behind it. Let me put it that way, in a supporting role of the production and everything. But the Chaos he did make, it's what I didn't know at the time, but after reading the reviews and stuff, it's a remake of an old movie called Last House on the Left.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Chaos involved Sylvester Stallone's other son. That's where I met him, working on that. He has two sons, and one of them doesn't seem to get as much acknowledgement, and that's Sage, like a normal dude.
Yeah.
Sage Stallone.
Sage was in Rocky 5, I remember.
Oh, okay. So anyway, here's write this down, because if you haven't seen this on Netflix,
okay,
there's a documentary series called The Sons of Sam.
Sons of Sam. Okay. Oh, I know. Yeah, Sons of Sam. Ooh, I would love to. Yeah, learn about that for sure.
So what this does, that's mind blowing to me. It brings forth so much evidence to the guy's theory that it seems like it should have been accepted by law enforcement that Samuel Berkowitz wasn't the only one that was going around killing. That in fact, there was several people, and they were all part of this satanic cult, and they hung out in these places where they would write with blood on the wall. And at the end, it ties it in to Charles Manson. He was part of that same exact time, that same movement that they were doing everywhere, like at the same time. And you get to the end of the series before he ties all that in together, and it's like, whoa, like how could it just makes it's one of those things where you're only getting their side of the story, but after you watch it, you're like, how did the police miss this and not, and why did they put it all on Sam, when all this was going on? And it all seems to be part of the same movement. And there's so many similarities between the cult that you mentioned of young hippie-like people that were looking to murder with cause. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Sons of Sam, not son, but sons.
Sons of Sam. Okay. Oh, that makes sense because they're saying there was more than one. So
yeah.
Okay, I like it. Man. Yeah. That stuff is really fascinating to me. And when I heard, it was like I heard somebody talk about it on a podcast first, that book, Chaos. And then one of my buddies actually brought it up. I was like, geez, I got to get this fucking book then, apparently. So I got the one you got with the Sammy the Bull. And
yeah.
So now I'll have to get
and you got Double Cross, right? With Sam Giancana. Yeah.
I got Celestian Prophecy. I have a whole library. I got an RVD library cooking right now. So.
Well, documentaries are easier and take a lot less time, to learn than reading a book. So if you want me to start recommending documentaries, I will. But this is one that I think that you'll feel enlightened. A lot of it just makes so much sense, And I was into, when I lived in LA, that was one of the things that I would do is go to different locations where there were filming locations, but also I went up to Benedict Canyon and went to what's her name? I want to say Sharon Tate now.
Yeah, Sharon Tate. She's the one that got murdered by Charles Manson.
Oh, okay. In Benedict Canyon, which was very close to the place where Superman, George Reeves, allegedly shot himself in the head. But that was in Benedict Canyon. And then they went over to oh, shoot. What's the whatever it is that's just east of Hollywood. I can't remember. Anyway, damn it.
Yeah. If you said it, I probably would know it, but I don't.
I want to say it begins with but it's where the zoo is actually. Where LA. Anyway,
Seth knows. He may know because I think he's from LA somewhere.
The park. I'm stuck, dude. Like take Crenshaw all the way up to the hill. What do you end up in? It's that area. When Bret Hart wanted to move to LA, we went up there and looked at apartments for him and stuff. That was so long ago.
Pasadena, is it? It's not Pasadena.
No. Way closer to it's on the Hollywood Hill. It's just on the east side of West Hollywood. And it's like as soon as you say it, I'm gonna know it.
Somebody shout it out in the chat if you know. Darren Stilly, you've been on fire. Maybe you know.
Damn, I'd have to look up. It's where Fat Burger is. God dang it. Let me see. Anyway, it's also where the La Bianca murders happened. So let me just put it that way.
Oh, okay.
If you look that up, it'll tell you where it is, right?
La Bianca murders. Let me see. Okay. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
And that was where they went after Sharon Tate's, and it was and because I was into Hollywood and LA and fame and all that, it was fascinating for me to see those locations. And I always wanted to go to the Spawn Ranch, which is where he was hiding with his cult before they came down to Hollywood and created those murders. That's where they were staying and living as a incestuous cult, was at the Spawn Ranch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I just read that here. Okay, Benedict, you said it. Yeah, you said it. 150 Celio Drive in Benedict Canyon. And then
That's Tate. What's the other one?
The other is Los Feliz.
Yes, thank you.
Los
I wasn't going to come up with that, so I'm not going to be too mad
I
at
wouldn't
myself.
know that either.
It's been too long since I lived there. Los Feliz. Feliz Navidad. Boom. So yeah, totally. That was the 70s, bro.
Yeah, that was, and that they signified the end of the 70s. Those murders kind of did. They kind of culturally signified the end of all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
that's right. Well, actually, I think he was the beginning. I think 69, 70, if I'm not mistaken, was.
Oh, you're right. The end of the 60s, like the hippie era. It was kind of the end of the hippie era. Signified. What was I gonna mention too? Dang it! What the fuck was I gonna say? Something. Did you ever see the Tarantino movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Yes, I like it.
I did too. A lot of fun.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool to imagine being there during that time. Yeah.
Yeah, during that time they did a good job, and I love how Tarantino just flipped it on its head and just had Brad Pitt's dog take care of business. That was fun.
I love Hollywoodland. I love especially the 20s, and 30s, and the studios opening up, and acting standards were so low because no one has seen anything yet.
Yeah. Have you seen that movie Hollywoodland with Adrian Brody and Ben Affleck plays Superman?
Of course, dude. You just like I'm into mobster lore now. Hollywood history used to be my area, so any of those docudramas or movies based on true stories and shit, I've seen them all. I was trying to think of what William Randolph Hearst was called, but that movie's too old. No one's going to want to go see that one anyway.
That sounds familiar. William Randolph Hearst sounds familiar, though.
Yeah, he owned the newspapers, one of the richest guys in the world, and also got away with murder on his yacht. He killed somebody. Thomas Ince, a director, and Charlie Chaplin was on the boat. And some of the people that were on there on the boat swore secrecy and got taken care of for life after that.
Holy shit. Oh, is
Yeah.
it Citizen Kane you're thinking of?
What is it?
Citizen Kane?
No, no, but that's a good one as well. Which,
Yeah.
yeah,
Little Old New York. That's a 1923 movie.
yeah. The one I'm talking about, it's more about the Oneida, the boat that him and Marion Davies. Marion Davies was his lover. She was way younger, but you couldn't divorce back then because everyone was so religious. So he kept a lover in this huge beach house, which I used to always ride my bike out there in Santa Monica. There's still some pillars in one wing left of it. But it was a huge party palace, and he had houses all over. He built this huge building that's right off the 101 in Hollywood. After he killed Thomas Ince, he built this for Thomas's widow because he felt bad for killing him. And it's like a 70-room place that now it belongs to the Scientologist.
Holy shit.
I used to love that kind of stuff. I'd drive, I'd give people tours when they come into town, my friends or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun.
Used to geek out in that area for sure, and I guess I still am.
Yeah, you can't be. Oh man, yeah. You mentioned Hollywood, man. Makes me want to go watch that movie again. I love that fucking movie.
Well, I was just talking about George Reeves killing himself. That's at the end of that movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Goes upstairs at the house, and that's actually very close to where Sharon Tate was murdered, and also where Douglas Fairbanks and Mary Pickford lived, which was called Pickfair, and it was like a fantasy huge house, as if the two most successful movie stars, as if Ben Affleck and J-Lo or Angelina Jolie got married right now and bought it had a moat around it, and it was right there in Benedict Canyon, and it was crazy. But anyway, people don't even know who Mary Pickford is, but this was when we just got talkies. All these actors, Charlie Chaplin, I'm talking about, they did the movies before there was sound. And then in 1928, they added sound to it. Jazz Singer was the first movie with the soundtrack. They used to like play a piano down in front of the movie and shit like that to keep the crowd going. And then once they made talkies, that's a line from the Charlie Chaplin movie. They're hanging outside the sign. They're hanging on the sign, the Hollywoodland sign. Douglas Fairbanks and Charlie Chaplin talking about the future of the business. And Douglas Fairbanks keep going, talkies, talkies. It's awesome. I used to love going there too. And you look down at the whole world from that Hollywood sign. Used to love that.
I bet that's neat, man.
Yeah.
If I go back to LA at some point, I'll have to try that.
Yeah, it's a nice little hike, and then you can see everything from up there. And there's a lake down below that you would never know, but it's a reservoir, Lake Hollywood.
Ooh, wow. Well, Seth mentions too about scary stuff in wrestling. He says, "I hate spooky stuff in wrestling. Everyone just does a bridge, and it looks at you, but that's not scary." So he means the bridge. Yeah. We talked about this before about like supernatural stuff, and I think if I remember correctly, you said it didn't make sense to you back then, but you kind of understand it from a business standpoint now, like Undertaker stuff, or I thought it was stupid, and we talked about this, like when Kane tried to light you on fire, kidnapped you or whatever, and that was kind of dumb. But do you think like having like a cult kind of thing, kind of like Kevin Sullivan did with the Varsity Club, or maybe if they go in that route, could something like this Wyatt Six work? Do you think in the scheme of wrestling today?
Do they have superpowers?
That has not been at this moment, no. So, and I think the reports are that that's not part of the plan. Is they're not going to have superpowers. It's just going to be like it might seem like they're carrying on Bray Wyatt's legacy and maybe attacking people. And
I feel more like, if it's about the character, then I can see it being cool. I can see it fitting. I remember way back, even before I started watching wrestling, like the Samoans would like have like a heart and rip it open. They're eating a live heart or something, and it's like it's gimmick. It's cool for the character, and I could see like boogeyman, or like he's spooky, he is scary. I could see him, or maybe even Papa Shango, like saying that they're casting a spell on you, as long as you don't have to sell it and like pass out in the ring or act like like that's a little too much for me. We've all seen on Instagram the shitty little indie shows where somebody uses the force and they just go and the person goes and then they like pick him up and choke slam him without even touching him, and the guy just jumps up and lands on his back. Obviously, that is on the other line of credibility from everything that I believe in and that I work for. So that's a bit much, but I think it's a fine line, and you gotta be careful with it. And I think in real life there could be some supernatural. So why not?
Yeah, it is a really fine line too. If you make things kind of make sense from what you build around in wrestling, like, okay, this does make sense in this context and stuff like that. People bought into the Undertaker, after the
Right.
and stuff. But
Say somebody is getting advice from their spiritual deceased loved one, their dad or their manager or someone that died or whatever, and you can see them talking and they're like, I understand. And it's a one-way conversation. Some of the stuff could be left up to interpretation, could be taken as supernatural at the same time and not blow the credibility of what we're doing. So that's kind of where I stand on it.
yeah, I'm with you on that. And I think you make the great point too about it. Like, if you make those people accessible and like have that connection kind of thing where it's like, it's more about the person behind the mask, because they're all wearing masks. And there are all the wrestlers are basically ones we're already familiar with behind these masks. So it's like they're going to take those masks off and wrestle. If you make those kind of the big trajectory of it, and not like, oh, they're playing this monster of some sort that has all these powers, then you're going to get taken out. And I like the aspect of it could potentially be something like a Charles Manson cult thing that's going around and things like that.
I think when it comes to selling superpowers, that's always going to be asking a lot in the world of wrestling. Not if you're in an action movie, but in wrestling, it's a bit much to ask people to buy.
Yeah.
Oh, it may give you a heart attack. And then, you're going to get booed out of the building.
Exactly. Seth, thanks for the 20 bucks. Jeez, thanks for the $20, Seth. RVD, how did you cure your double vision? I'm starting to get it because I had eye surgery in 2020 and now my retina is puckered. They say I need another surgery to peel scar tissue off the retina, but I'm so scared it sucks.
It is fucking scary. I've never had my eyes operated on. And I was only open to it probably the last year or so. I started thinking, maybe, especially when I'm done getting hit in the head a lot. My dad, that was one thing he always was concerned about with my job. He was afraid I'd get hit in the head and it would fuck my vision up, which he was right. I did. And he was foreshadowing my future. That was a message that he always had since I said I wanted to wrestle. So, I mean, when your retina is puckered, that almost sounds like the shape of your eyeball has changed. And if the shape of your eyeball changes, then, of course, you have stigmatism. And then you're in a different boat. Then you're not even a candidate. I was just told I have a little stigmatism. Never told that I had that before. When I just started asking about the operation, I'm told I'm not a candidate now because I have stigmatism in one eye. Wow. Doesn't mean they won't come up with new procedures, or maybe even have since my last appointment. They're always coming up with new stuff. For me, my personal experience was this. I had a match in Los Angeles, and I took just like a rolling bump. It was a weird Mexican Pentagon arm drag. It was weird. I mean, I told him beforehand it was weird. I don't like doing weird stuff really because, there's a lot of stuff. I mentioned this on Busted Open Radio too. I was saying I get where people want me to wrestle with the younger guys because then they get a rub. But I actually prefer wrestling with guys that are my peers. if anybody wanted to invest in that, I don't know, but I know we could steal the show. I know me and Chris Jericho, Christian, Edge, I guess the Hardy Boys are gone now, but I have no doubt I've wrestled those guys so many times, Big Show even. I just know that we could go out there and steal the show. And if they don't feel like they can move as much or as well, you'll never even know because I'm going to be dancing around them. But the thing is with younger guys is that they weren't taught, they're not from my way of mind. Even if they were inspired by me, there's so many things the guys do nowadays that don't compute with my logic. And I was talking to Dreamer about this today. When I'm with young guys, there's so many times where before the match, if they have ideas and they're talking to me or whatever, I'm like, you want to what? No, I don't see that. No, I don't see that. What? One idea that I don't know what it's called, but Tommy knows because we had this conversation 5 years ago, and when I brought it up today, like boom, he knew exactly what I was talking about. The young guys nowadays do this thing where, like, say you run off the ropes and you're coming at me, right?
Uh-huh.
Now I run in the same direction you just came from and pass you. And you run right by me, and then I hit the ropes, and you go out to the middle, and you stop and turn around and wait for me to come back off the ropes, whether I hit you with something or you hit me with something. I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me. When I first saw that, and I was talking to Tommy about it when we were both at Impact, he said, I do this. He said he had this conversation with the guy, and he said, go do that. He goes, run by me. When the guy did it, he just like waist locked him. Said, why wouldn't I do that?
Yeah.
And, anyway, I think that explains like the whole situation as far as me and just a little bit of difference in the thinking. I can't remember why the fuck I brought that up now. Do you know?
Well, because we were talking about what was it here? We mentioned dang it. Why did I blank too, Rob? What was it?
All right. Well, hopefully I answered somebody's question.
I think you did. We'll say you did.
Dude, by the way, I think I just was telling you last week, or maybe it was the week before, we were talking about being prepared, but not like wanting something bad to happen. And I was saying that in real life, it's not like TV shows and in the movies. In real life, people die with one punch all the time. And I said that, I knew of 4 or 5 times I could think of on the spot. Well, here's another one. If you look it up, it just happened in Santa Monica. Manager of a bar kicked these guys out because they just had too much to drink. You can't be in here anymore. The guy punched him one time. Boom. The guy hit his head and died.
Punched the bartender?
Yeah. Well, the manager.
Oh, the manager? Oh.
Of the bar. But it's so easy in real life for that to happen. That's why in TV shows it's hilarious because they'll take like a weapon even, like brass knuckles and hit their friend. Sorry, buddy, it's for your own good. Bam! And they just like take a nap or whatever. Yeah. What happened? Well, nothing you need to worry about now that we have it taken care of. Dude, that guy's jaw is fucking broke. He probably needs wire mesh put in for reconstructive surgery to fill out what you just did to him, and that's real life.
And you think about too when there's guns involved or anything like that. Somebody fires a gun, you're not going to be able to fucking hear or anything like that either. It's like people are like moving around and like still seeing what's going on and being aware. It's like that. If a gunshot went off by you, you'd one, be deaf, and two, you'd probably be like so disoriented because you weren't expecting something like that a lot of the time. So, yeah, I don't know that I've had a real gun go off. Definitely like on the sets of movies where I don't know, they call them live rounds. I don't even know. It's so everyone's so nervous, rightfully so, but I hate that. Everyone's so nervous and tense when there's guns on a set. But I've filmed a lot of things where I've had to shoot, you know what I mean? And those guns are like really loud and you have earplugs in and stuff like that. And I would imagine they're probably the exact same if it was bullets instead of blanks.
Yeah.
Are you a good shot?
No.
I'm not either.
No.
Yeah. I think we were talking. I don't know how we got on the ropes, running the rope subject, but I know we were talking about the eye vision stuff.
Okay. So yeah, you know where now I see where I got derailed. I was talking about this crazy arm drag, and I remember even beforehand saying, you know what else I hate is the Canadian Destroyer, which we did in that match. And I was like, I'm not comfortable with it, Oh, please. But anyway, took this arm drag, and it wasn't a hard bump, but it was something that was weird, awkward, and the way I had to roll with it, I just smacked the back of my head on the mat. Not even hard, but when I got up, I could see double, two of everything, and it stayed like that for the longest time. I could close either eye, see fine. Out of both eyes, I would see double, and I didn't have a headache or anything, but eventually that would make my head and stomach and everything kind of feel funny, especially certain patterns of wallpaper or steps, things where there's like parallel lines. It was hard to judge, the depth, and it was just it was really something to go through. And for me, it took vision therapy. So I went to a vision therapist. First I had to go to a neurologist and got the MRIs, after, several appointments, whatever, they recommended the physical eye therapy. And there's a lot of really cool exercises where it has to do with strengthening your eye muscles. And it's stuff like, I still like a lot of it's eye charts. Or it's holding two charts and only moving your eyes and grabbing a letter off of here, putting it with the number here, and the second letter, second number. And there's so many things. And just like any good therapist that I've ever been to, it's a progressive overload. So the more you're there, they're always finding a new way to add something to it to make it a little bit more difficult. And I actually really enjoyed a lot of that. It wasn't like I'd rather be doing that, than being at the Sapphire Strip Club pool party. Don't get me wrong, but but I enjoyed seeing the progression, and a lot of it had to do with balance. I had to balance on one foot, with one eye closed and then the other one, and then it was on a Bozu ball, or an unbalanced thing. And some of that stuff I keep and still do in my routines, but it took the better part of 2 years for me until finally, I could still get tripped off by certain patterns of wallpaper or something where I'm like, whoa, I can't really differentiate the depth between all the different squares on that checker pattern or something like that. It's weird. That kind of stuff would still happen, but otherwise, I see singular. My eyes are still shitty. They always have been my whole life, but I test regularly when I go to the eye doctor, for my eye reaction time and distance and all of the things that you test for. I test normal now, and it's really because of the eye therapy.
Oh, that's nice. So Seth, do that. Looking at some eye therapy and stuff like that. And wow, yeah, I have. I can only use one eye at a time. Like, so, this is my dominant eye. But if I use this eye goes lazy. So like, I'm looking at you right now, Rob, and it's just this eye is probably like all cattywampus or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah. So
how do you see out of one eye without closing the other one?
Because I don't know.
You just focus.
I just focus with this eye, and like this, it's almost like switching cameras basically for me. So I'm like, okay, I can't use both eyes at the same time, and this eye just sucks. Like this one, it's like super blind, and I actually don't have a contact in this one right now. I just have one in this one, and so because I can only use one eye at a time. So.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I do that all the time where I'm like reading something and like the computer, it seems to be like the perfect distance for me right now. But sometimes if it's something across the room, I look with my right eye and I'm like, I can't read anything on that poster, and I'm like, shouldn't I? I feel like I should be able to read that. I'm always questioning people with me, like, can you read that street sign or whatever it is? And even like right now, like my left eye, I can see Katie's Barbie poster. Are you ready for the runway? NYC Barbie. And then out of this, yeah, it's just like a big, yeah, it's a blur. I'm always thinking there's no way they have the prescription right on my contacts. There's no way.
I know.
I can't read that on my right. That's crazy. But yeah, at my age, I believe that the prescription changes like annually at least anyway.
Wow, really? Okay. Geez, I'm in store for something then, I think.
And that's something, well, I mean, everyone's different, right? But for me, it has been. And that's a factor too when it comes to getting the surgery. Like, I think the younger you get it, the better off you are. But also, if you get it and you're in your mid 50s and your vision's gonna just downgrade every year from there anyway, then maybe you don't have as big of a window of enjoying the cured eyesight. I don't know.
Yeah. I hate it too because sometimes I'll be like in public or something and I'll start talking to somebody and then I'll be like, "Hey, how's it going?" And then they like look behind them. I'm like, "Fuck!" I'm like, "Shit!" It's not what I'm looking at them. Nick, tell me what you want, where I should direct you to watch whatever it is. So I don't know what you're talking about. Dom, where should I watch? I don't know what you're talking about, but just message me.
Hey, watch RVD on A&E BIO. Not BINGO, BIO.
Yes.
Sunday the 23rd. It's going to be RVD's story. And, it's a lot more updated than the one on Peacock because we're here in Vegas. We filmed here at my house, in my gym, in the desert. And I don't know if they came out to any shows or what we did physically, but boom, I'm always doing it. There's always updates to be made, so we might as well go ahead and get ready to make the next one. No,
that's right. Get prepared.
Actually, give me a couple months, and I might have something very changing.
Boy, keep your eyes peeled. If you can only use one, keep your one eye peeled.
One of the exercises is just like following your thumb. Like you close one eye, and then you look at your thumb, right? And you bring it all the way out, but you don't turn your head. You just follow it with your eye, and that shit. Like when I was first started doing that, I couldn't go very far, and it felt like so strenuous on my eye. But then after a while, you go further. And you go all the way around, and that's one of the things I would do, like 30 seconds of shit like this, up and down, and then then you do the thing with the other one, and then you eventually do it while you're walking. Now you're walking backwards. There's just always way to add a little more challenge on, but that's like one of the most basic eye strengthening exercises right there.
Oh, okay, I have to try that out.
Just if you look straight ahead and you don't let your face turn from looking at me, but you try to see your thumb, when it's way out here, by looking at it, you feel your muscles working.
Yeah. Oh, see, I got to use my other eye here. So yeah,
but you close one eye and use the one eye because otherwise, peripheral. I've always had a good peripheral, but that's nothing to strengthen. That's just something that you use by increasing your awareness. I've always had. Matter of fact, I think I use my peripheral a lot more than my actual eyesight, probably because my eyesight's not that good. And so I don't worry about focusing. So I look more on like bodies that are walking towards my way, so that they don't run into me and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's why I walk by people I know all the time. I'm not looking at them. I never look at someone in another car. I don't want them looking at me. I don't want to make eye contact. It's like making eye contact with, the guy begging for money or the girl begging for money at Sapphire Strip Club pool party.
Pool party, right? Hey guys, before I forget here, before we close out, this episode of our One of a Kind with RVD is sponsored by Get Blitz. Get Blitz is a lit nano-infused THC syrup and is 100% legal in all 50 states. It's Delta 9. Mickey Ray Sinatra and Courtney, they're based out of Maryland, and they have several different flavors that you can choose from blue raspberry to tiger's blood to pina colada to key lime pie. That's Kevin Nash's favorite. and I believe there's black cherry as well. But go to get-blitz.com, use promo code RVD, and get 15% off your order. That could be a pack of them. That could be just one little bottle. It's up to you how you want to do it. But go to get-blitz.com, use promo code RVD, get 15% off, get blitzed. I saw somebody in the chat also was asking, hey, RVD, do you have any bongs on hand? And that is pretty coincidental because we have some bongs at rvd420.com. You can check them out. Let's see here. Yes.
You know what? We should do a round of hellos when we start. We should look in the chat room and say,
Yeah,
hi,
that's true.
hi, Melman. What up, Brian? What up, people? Or is there too many to do that too?
We can do it. We can definitely do it too at the beginning because people chime in. And we got that's what's great about doing these live ones is we get regulars coming in. Obviously, like Seth, Italian's a regular. We get coming in here. Like you said, Meltman's in here. Triple E's in here a lot of the time. Steve Soleil. And hey, we got a super chat too. Julio.
Hold on. If he really means, do I have any on hand? I do.
Oh,
I don't use them. I don't use them myself. There's an exception to everything. So, every once in a great while, I might say, hey, I feel like doing a bong rip. But otherwise, it's usually just like if guests are over. And because I am on the fringes of the industry, I have had a lot of people send me pieces that were interested in possibly collaborating on some stuff, which, as you're showing them, Greek Glass and RVD have a collaboration that actually worked out. I've also had some other companies where it didn't work out, but they sent me boxes of all these glass pieces. So I do have a lot of them. They don't mean anything to me, but I have them, displayed, organized. I have so much stuff. I got to go through boxes of all the stuff people gave me and say, okay, and I've been doing that. Here's liquids, and here's gummies, and here's edibles, and here's paraphernalia, and I have like boxes and boxes of stuff from like the last several years because the J&J buttholes used to have people send stuff to me all the time, and now they still do. So G&G is the only one that has an RVD glass piece available for you.
Look at RVD420.com. That'll take you to GreekGlass.com. They're a bunch of good guys based out of Pittsburgh. That's where I'm at. So be sure to give it
and if you like doing dabs instead of bong hits, just take the bowl out and replace it with a nail. Boom! It's that easy.
Good to go.
And once in a while, it's good to do a dab.
Yeah, a little dab will do you. Let's see here. Is there anything else I wanted to cover in the chat? Here's a fun one. Pepsi GTS. Rob, is this CM Punk? This might be CM Punk asking this question. Rob, would you be up to fight Cody Rhodes during this title reign he has now? He's been on quite the run as a babyface here, Rob.
Absolutely. I would love to. I like Cody. I respect him, and I would definitely be up for that. Absolutely.
He's such a good marketer. People talk about, obviously he's Dusty's kid. And Dusty was so forward thinking when it came to like, hey, how to promote yourself, how to promote some other people too. But like Cody is like, he always seems like a step ahead of the game when it comes to like how to get himself out there, how to get, the way to position himself. And
well, I feel like he was one of the founding members of AEW, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like, you did it, bro. That's all the guys that made that happen. It's like, man, everyone talks about it, but you guys did it. So you can't take that away from anybody. As far as he goes, when we were in WWE together, I never really understood is it Star Maker? Was that his name?
Stardust.
Mm-hmm. But then I never really understood Goldust either. Sometimes Goldust would make me laugh, when he's doing his promos. It was entertaining and stuff. But then I didn't know, and I wondered with his brother, like, is that like, okay, but I mean, is that them like making him do that, or is that his own idea? Because it could work either way. And I never knew. I was kind of curious about that because I don't know if he seemed frustrated at times, which could have been from anything, but that could have played into my mind a little bit on my curiosity, because I really didn't get it at all. Like what trannies or no, or just I don't know. But I still don't get it. But I don't get a lot of stuff.
It was like, I think he was put in that role. He did not choose to do that. So it was like he tried to make the most out of what it was. And I think he was frustrated with all that aspect.
Okay. Yeah, that would make sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Goldust was fun, though, because, like, when he was tagging with Booker T and they did, like, the Tourette syndrome stuff when he got electrocuted.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah. He would do that all the time, too, to pop the boys. Like, we're overseas and we're on the bus, in front of the hotel in the morning. We're just waiting for everyone to load up. And he'd be doing that, good morning.
Good morning. He was another name, Rob. We were talking last week, and you mentioned it today too. Was like veterans that you'd want to get in the ring with and stuff like that. And Dustin's been like on a fucking roll too. And
yeah,
match. Mm-hmm.
That is true. We the same age, and really, as far as like I don't. People, a lot of my fans always say we need one more run, right? And yeah, for the where there's a fee, there's a remedy. I heard that today, and I like it. Thank you, Oscar Goodman. But I feel like I wonder if let's say I did go to AEW and signed a deal, and say I was there and you saw me every week, would the industry look at RVD like maybe I'm overstaying my welcome in the business? And that's something that seems like it's definitely an apparent possibility since I popped back up on AEW last year and all the age haters came forward with all the material that they came forward with. So I know that that's there and that exists. However, besides still being able to go out there and kick ass and be so different, I think that comes out, when I'm in a different mindset when I'm out there doing something. I don't smack someone on their ass and expect them to take off and hit the ropes. Yeah. I don't think they're going to move unless I really throw them in there. And that's my mindset with the whole thing. And I think for the fans, not only would I stand out with my physical style and moves, but also I have consistently always just been about being me. Mm-hmm. And so for the fans that I have picked up along the way, I feel like a lot of it's for being me, not for claiming to be the best in the world, which I get tired of that game. And that happened years and years ago. And once in a while I bring it up, but I watched just a couple minutes of, I saw Swerve Strickland in the ring with Will Ospreay on YouTube. And I was, all right, cool. Let me see that. And I see they're just going to do a promo, right? And Will Ospreay's on there and he says stuff. And then the first thing that Swerve says, he says, oh, well, it might have been the first thing, about the first thing. One of the very first things he says is, he says, but you see, he says, well, see, you're not, you're wrong about something. See, I'm the best in the business. And right there, I was just like, man, I always feel like that's every wrestler's story. That's what every wrestler is taught from wrestling school to trying to make their way up through the ranks. And that's something that I've always felt was done enough. Everybody say, I'm the best in the business. Nobody can get through me. I'm going to end up at the top. And it's like, okay, ego, ego. I've got the biggest ego. Talkies. And so anyway, for me, I always liked being myself and being like, hey, man, I think I got pretty good chances tonight. Yeah, dude. I would love a shot at your title, Undertaker. Thank you. I think I got a pretty good shot. And they didn't like that about me. They wanted me to fall into the formula about you got to prove to everybody that you believe that you're the best so they can believe that you're the best. How about letting them decide on their own and just them knowing that I believe in myself enough to test myself? And that's not just in wrestling. That's in life in general. It's always got to be about being the best, the best, the best. You know what I mean? Everything's a competition too. You know, this is the best street in the city. No, this is the best street. Why? Just because you live there, you know? Dude, brown hair is the best. No way, man. Black hair is the best. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Like anybody is automatically taught to defend whatever theirs is as being the absolute best, you know, whether it's the country they live in or whether it's something so stupid it's their name, you know. What's the coolest name? Oh, Rob. Rob's the coolest name. Steve, no, Rob's way cooler than Steve. It's ego, and it's taught to make decisions for us at a very young age. It's disguised as pride, and then it really is something that takes some reprogramming on an RVDology level to get around that as an adult. And for me, I think personally, I think that I am, for lack of a better way of putting it, a less ugly person for not having that view that my character would if I say, dude, I'm the whole effing show because I consistently put on the best match every night. No matter who you buy a ticket for, I'm going to be your favorite. And that was a shoot, though. That is the way it was for me. But I still know enough to be humble enough to say, hey, that ain't everybody. You know, hey, some people wanted Cena to win one night stand. You know, there's always some people, and the totality is never just absoluteness ever, and that's a whole nother value that we will talk about. But anyway, dude, if you think about it like that, every fighter since Muhammad Ali, every boxer, every MMA, every wrestler, from when you start doing promo class, it's all about this is what you need to keep your eye on. Don't look away or you'll miss the next best thing that's ever fucking happened to this industry. Ugh.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, it's like,
it's silly.
I like the aspect too of, like, you know, actions speak louder than words, basically. It's like, hey, you know, you going into the not that it's you're going in casually, but for lack of a better phrase, that you're just like, oh yeah, well, I would love a shot at your title, and yeah, I think I have a pretty good shot. It gives a different dynamic where it's like, that does not mean you're not competitive. That doesn't mean you don't want the title. That just means, like, you're not hammering people over the head like, yeah, I'm the best. Like, saying you're the best at something almost shows a level of insecurity about it. Are you really the best? Like, you're just, yeah, where are you coming out here? You know?
No, you're absolutely right. And even though you say that, I believe, and a lot of people will agree with you, that this could be the reason that I'm not, you don't see RVD on WWE right now. From the documentary that they did of me on Peacock that aired, I think they got the story right. I think that they took my chill vibration as a lack for passion. Mm-hmm. I think they took my unwillingness to change as not wanting it bad enough. And, you know, maybe they're right if I really needed to want it more than I did. But that seems like a very apparent possibility.
Yeah, but that didn't fit your personality and who you were either, to be like, oh, I got to go and get this. This is something I got to go and grab and, like, show them that I want this and all this kind of stuff. Whereas, like, people know, like, other people have that desire to do that and they'll be willing to take those steps. But being in that landscape of, like, okay, I have to prove myself to this, or I have to do this a certain way, it doesn't really play to certain people. Like,
Well, that's just it. I feel like I guess I probably feel like I was established enough. Feel like I did prove myself. When I was 16, 17, 30 years old or whatever, let me in the ring with them. I'll show you.
yeah,
Boom. But that was a long time ago. And after a while, if that doesn't give you enough leverage so you don't have to do that anymore, then that's a pretty tiresome effort of never ending status that you're putting yourself on.
exactly. Yeah, it's just a constant roller coaster kind of thing. We'll do these last two super chats and then close it out here. Rebel Rockstar for the $2. Thank you. Have you ever thought of doing a cinematic? What do you think about cinematic matches, Rob?
Not only have I not thought about it, I have never seen a cinematic match.
Haven't you? Okay.
Has there been a lot of them?
In COVID, there was. Like, they did a lot of them. Like, AJ Styles fought The Undertaker at WrestleMania in a match. And that was really well done for what it was. And it was like, I'm trying to think of the other notable cinematic. I guess Matt Hardy's, like, they were kind of the innovators of the cinematic matches, was his compound matches that we'd have, Broken Matt Hardy and stuff like that. And so he really launched it off, I think. But they used that to supplement a lot of the matches and stuff that they couldn't do necessarily with COVID going on. So they're fun. I don't want to see another one again, to be honest. Like, it's like, we don't need it. We got the crowd again, and it takes an element away that is different. But go ahead.
I do hope to see one, watch one, because I've only seen like a few seconds of a little bit of this or that or whatever, and it does sound interesting, from what I understand of the concept.
Yeah. There was a good one too when Sting debuted. It was during COVID in AEW when he debuted, and it was him, Ricky Starks, Brian Cage, somebody else was in there too. Oh, Darby Allin. So it was a tag match, but they did it in like a warehouse and stuff like that. And it was really well done. Like, they were still wrestling, and it didn't take you out of it necessarily. It was just different. You know what I mean? And that was probably my favorite cinematic match, actually. That match.
The Sting and Darby Allin?
Sting and Darby Allin tagged up against Ricky Starks and Brian Cage. Yeah, that was probably my favorite cinematic match that I've ever seen, I think. And the Undertaker AJ Styles one is good too. All right. Final question here of Super Chat. CC Bonbon won for $1.99. Thank you. He's like, what's the angriest you have ever seen Triple H get? Have you ever seen Triple H get legitimately mad, Rob?
No, I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him angry. So he's usually very. He's very professional whenever I see him. Oh, he is though. Yeah, he's always. To me, he's always come across as if he represents the company too, not just one of the boys. And so, I don't know. I kind of think he would pull somebody aside if he was if he had an issue with somebody, as opposed to being angry and letting that energy spill out into everyone else's eyes and ears.
Yeah, it seems like he'd be I've obviously never met him, but it seems like he'd be the type of person to be like, yeah, pull you aside, or have a conversation with you. And he seems like overall, when a dynamic backstage, I'm just assuming is pretty even keeled. I don't know. But cool. All right. Rob, so yes, you're on your way to Jackson. You flying out tomorrow, is it? Or is it
Yep. Yes, sir. And then Jackson, Mississippi Comic-Con. Myself and Katie will be there Saturday and Sunday. And then Sunday night is the A&E RVD bio. Don't know where I'll be watching it yet, but that is in the Haps. Oh, shit. Something else that I saw that's going on locally here. There's this local magician. and he has heat with the other magicians now. So the International Brotherhood of Magicians has filed a complaint on him, and there's actually a board of magic association. They have the Magic Castle in the Hollywood Hills, which I've been to many times. Should say many. Let's just say I've been there a bunch of times. It's cool. You got to get invited to come in to the Magic Castle. And anyone who wants to be in magic, they all know about the Magic Castle. It's this really cool. It used to be a house, but now it's open. And when you go there, you have to have a jacket and I believe a tie if you're a dude. And the women, there's a dress code, and you walk through this really big mansion, and there's a bunch of people in there, and there's stuff to look at along the walls. And even though it's a house, it comes across more like a public place, because like you go up the stairs and there'll be like a bar there, and people are drinking and stuff, and they're all waiting for the next show that's in the room that's just around the corner. They're all waiting for that show to start in 15 minutes, so they're having a drink at the bar. And do I want to wait? No, I'm gonna keep on walking. And you walk and you go downstairs and you see what show is going on down there. And one show is just ending in one part of the house, another show is about to go on or whatever. There's some magicians doing card tricks and cheap tricks right there at the bar, like in between stuff. And everyone's there just to have a good time. Everybody that in the magic community knows about the Magic Castle. It's been there forever and ever. And anyway, this dude, this magician that's he's famous here. He's actually in the video when you're leaving Las Vegas and you're at the airport and you're at TSA security, and if you see the screen, he's on there playing a passenger that's got like too many bags that's trying to carry up, and they're telling you don't do this or whatever, and he does some stuff that's gimmicky. I can't remember why. I guess he has his magic tricks with him that he's trying to get through security for the video. Anyway, this dude violated their omerta, their kayfabe, and so he bought some, what he says were just cheap magic tricks on Amazon intentionally because they were so accessible that he felt like anybody could just get them and know how to do them. So he didn't mind filming himself doing these tricks and exposing them on TV. And because of this, the whole magic community has banned him. You can't go to the Magic Castle anymore. And overall, they've all shunned him. And I was just thinking, like, wouldn't that be crazy if there was something like that to protect wrestling? You know?
Yeah.
A brotherhood, like they still believe in their secrets so much, and the fact that they make their money off of that illusion of what they're doing isn't known, and so it's offensive. Just like with magicians, it's offensive when wrestlers try to over smarten up everybody or treat the industry themselves as if it's a scripted play or whatever, because it's not. I just, comparing that, I just thought, wow, that's crazy that this is legit, and the magic is just behind. Of course it's going to get exposed. It has to. That's got to be next. You know what I mean? But wrestling is way ahead, and everything that we do with our bodies and the risks, the timing, everything that we pull off for that live entertainment is minimized by the opposite thought that it is just, in fact, a scripted pillow fight. It's never been that for me.
Yeah. No, that would be interesting. Like a wrestling council, if somebody goes way too far with something or is really doing. Like you think about certain wrestlers that have a gimmick that really, what we were talking about, like the force choke slam, that bullshit there. It's like, All right.
Ban them, right? Ban them, right? Like, yeah, you guys,
buddy.
yeah, you guys aren't welcome anymore. Come back next year.
You're right. You got to take a year off. I'm sorry. Yeah, there's several of those I've seen that I'm like, yeah, they should not be doing this.
But I guess back in the day, it would have been more like that when it was territorial and they could blacklist
Blackball you.
somebody. Yeah, and then I guess that would be a good comparison because there hasn't been control since then. There's no union. It's entertainment, so I guess anybody can do whatever they want and then call it wrestling. But for the old school mentality, it's too bad that there's not some kind of original brotherhood that could stick together and protect the foundation.
Who would you put on the wrestling council? You had to pick 4 heads. You had to pick 4 people.
Man, I guess I would go for anyone I could find that's older than me, because those are the guys that I look up to, that were out there and would have to fight people in bars that challenged the legitimacy of what they had just done at work a couple hours before, because it was their job to protect it. I talked to Manny Fernandez, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Stan Hansen.
And Jake Roberts, you could probably do.
Sure, I love Jake. Yeah. There's still a few guys like that. Maybe Ricky Morton.
Ricky would be a good one.
There's still a few guys that are in that over early 50s age.
Yeah. Wait, you're not early 50s, Rob, right?
I am 53.
Jeez.
So,
Sure don't wrestle like it. Age is just a number, though. Hey, the magician.
I love finding the wrestlers that are a generation above me. You know what I mean? Because those are the guys that motivated me, and and it means a lot to me that they respect me, because I know that they have that old school mentality, and that tells me, oh, good, they don't think I killed the business.
Yeah, absolutely not. And like what you were saying earlier about Stan Hansen, when you're just kicking him in the ring in the 90s and stuff like that, he was like, "Dang, you are good." Had to feel good.
It didn't belong back then. Now you do.
Now you do. Magician Murray Sawchuck is the name that has been banned from the Magician.
Yeah, and that's kind of a controversy right now, because I guess they gave him a chance to just take the videos down. And he was like, no, dude, I'm not ashamed of what I did. It's little kids' party tricks. So it's interesting. It's an interesting thing that, magic is still so secret that that's happening.
Yeah, that's wild. Let's get around to it.
Way back, like when I was a kid and they started putting those videos out of the secrets of pro wrestling. You ever seen those?
Yeah.
I think Harley Race did one of those, if I'm not mistaken, with a mask on.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you are right. Or
those guys should have been kicked out of the Brotherhood.
Yeah. They did that one. What was the one with Ron Fuller or somebody down in that promotion? It was like Boris Malenko was down there, and they were called like the B tapes or something like that. It had a video where they exposed the business basically, and then those tapes got hidden. And I guess Boris, I think he got blackballed in certain areas and stuff like that.
You mean the ones where? Are you talking about the ones where like Cowboy Bob Orton was one of them?
Yeah.
And everybody. Yeah, they had footage of all of them, and that the way I understand it, it was something they were holding as leverage but didn't want to use, and it wasn't supposed to make public consumption, right?
It was, yeah. I think they were called the B tapes, if I'm not mistaken. But
yeah, that's true. Because Eddie Mansfield, got blackballed, and it's like they did this before he did that. It just never made it anywhere. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, they didn't get released or nothing like that. But yeah, that's crazy. Holy smokes! Well, it's been a crazy episode. I liked it. You didn't have an RVDology, right? Or were you good?
No, I feel like we talked about a lot. Go back to ego.
Ego. It was a good one. That. You had some good ones this past week, obviously, with Regret was a great one. And then we talked about the other one, too, about the confrontation, all that stuff. Oh, we did get another We did get another super chat real quick. $10. Norseman. RVD, how many times did you wrestle at the Downington Farmers Market in PA?
Probably 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I wrestled Eliminators there. I think I wrestled Taz there. I think I might have wrestled Raven there. Those stick out as matches. But yeah, maybe more. That was one of our regular places, and I used to like walking around looking for vendors that had like pipes or things to smoke out of.
I love flea markets. My big thing when I was a kid would be like going to the flea markets and finding old McDonald's toys. I liked all that stuff.
Cool. Yeah. I like mine was comic books as a kid, but I always liked collecting, and even stuff that I don't collect, if it's someone else's collection, for some reason I always thought that was cool, whatever it is they collect, you know?
Yeah.
If you want to collect beer cans, I don't, but you have a really impressive beer can collection. That's awesome. That's cool that you do that. You know, that's how I've always felt about collections. I don't know why, but flea markets are good for those.
Oh, I haven't been to a flea market. Yeah, they are great stuff. And this is great stuff. We have a great chat. Fans tune in every week and stuff like that. We thank the regulars. We thank new people. If you guys like what you're seeing, be sure to subscribe to RVD's YouTube at The Real RVD. Go to OneTrueSport.com, OneTrueSport TV, and join us. We want to see more content, whether it's for merch from Rob, different things that we got cooking. We got a lot of stuff planned for different legends and stuff on the network. So be on the lookout for the kind of stuff like that. And if you want to get the new episodes like this one, every Monday, 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, go to rvdtv.com or subscribe to the podcast on Apple, iTunes, or Spotify. Get those audio numbers up for us. Help us out. Give us 5 stars. And Rob, this has been a good time. We'll have to definitely cover what happens on this A&E doc next week, God willing. So.
Right. Yeah. And then also the following next weekend, I'll be in Buffalo. So we'll talk about that next week because we'll pop in here in between the appearances. But I have really enjoyed not traveling like for several weeks. You know what I mean? Like I got caught up on so much, organized. The other day I went on Amazon and I bought Velcro cord wraps. And last night, as you know, I didn't sleep. I fell asleep like 8:30 and I got up like at 12:30 to work out, but I didn't work out until like I don't know, it was like maybe 5 or something. And I couldn't stop. I was taking all the phone cords, wrapping them up really nice, then putting this little thing, and it's like it's so much better now because you know everything was a rat's nest, and I enjoy stuff like that, and I get now. I'm glad that is in me. It just wasn't the prevalent personality that was dominating my vibe. So for me, for a long time, because I was traveling, and then when I'm not traveling, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Traveling, when I'm not traveling, I'm tired. So then things build up that I fall behind on further and further. And I always feel, you know, like I'm behind and got to catch up. Then there's the pressure, and that makes me want to push it away. And I've always said, like, man, I wish I was one of those people that just couldn't sit still, you know, that has to always be doing something, because I love doing nothing. You've heard me say this so many times.
Yeah.
But now I know with enough rest and enough balance, as I always say every week, it's all about balance. And now I know, you know, part of me being balanced was staying home long enough to catch up mentally and spiritually so that I could catch up physically. And anyway, I'm glad to discover about myself that I do have a little get up and go that doesn't just look at things and be like, oh, that needs to be picked up off the floor. I'll do that. I'll do that when I get up on my way to the bathroom. You know, it's easy to be like that, especially when I'm out working almost every weekend. But it's been nice. So I'm going to try to have a little more balance now. And I think, keep that in mind, everybody. Consider that your ideology if you want, but it's always about balance. And if you are questioning why certain sides of you aren't necessarily rotating to the front, always consider that. Maybe just a little off balance, and you got to be the way you are to handle the way things are right now. But when things change a little bit, so will you. Boom.
Boom. There you go. Bear Bounds, we got your super chat in here too. What we'll do, we'll ask it next week. And I think that'll be a good topic to cover.
Are we cut off now, or?
No, we're still here.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah. Well, we'll cover it next week for you. And
okay.
I think that'll be a good one because I think you can have some good perspective on this question that he has. So we'll give it some time for it. So tune in next week. This has been One of a Kind with RVD on One True Sport on RVD on YouTube. And thank you all for joining in. Hey, Rob, this has been fun, man. We'll see you next time here.
Yeah, I only smoked one doobie the whole show, too.
That's it? Wow.
Ooh. Yeah,
man.
All right, cool, man. Thanks, Van Dam fam. Have a great week. See you in Jackson, Mississippi. And don't forget to make sure that RVD on A&E is the highest rated show they've ever had on TV, ever since they started the Talkies.
Talkies.
Talkies.